is up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown series for Lake Limestone. We've already went over the Google Earth stuff, so if you missed that, click the link up at the top. That will take you back down to that breakdown. But tonight, we're actually going to jump over and look at the offshore spots that we found in this lake. There's quite a few opportunities here. I think you guys are going to like it. Let's go. Here we are out on Lake Limestone. I'm using the Navionics mobile boating app to be able to identify different types of offshore areas that I think you guys should go check out while you're out here fishing this lake. Now, obviously, I can't pick every single offshore hotspot that's out there. I can't see brush piles and things like that that people have put. I can't see that kind of stuff on the mapping. So what we're using here is we're basically using the structure, or what you can also refer to as the contours, to try to find high percentage areas where we should be able to find bass. So let's go ahead and zoom this in. We're going to start down here at the dam, and then from the dam we're going to work our way up the east side, and then we'll fall back down and come back down the west side. So as we get up off the dam, and obviously the dam is a great place to go fish. It doesn't really look like you might not even be able to get to the dam. It looks like it's all blocked off, or at least you got buoys or something going on there. But anyways, if you can get down to the riprap on the dam, that's definitely a go. But I don't know what those say. But what I want to do is I want to point out this right here. So as we get down here by these buoys, basically as far as you can get, right here is a little, just several hump that's just comes out just a little bit, 18 foot, and then it drops off to about 33 feet. That could be a really good hump to go look at for sure, like right now, or towards the end of, towards all the way through the end of summer, going into the fall. That could be a really good place to go look and find some fish. Also up here, closer down here towards the dam, but you've got some interesting little points that come out that make some pretty good little humps. So like right here, you can see we've got a little hump that comes out at 10 foot. Right here, another hump at 12 foot that breaks off to 18. You've got a really good one out here at 15 foot, breaks off to 23 foot, 17 foot over here. So these are all great things to go look at. Now, it doesn't guarantee that there's going to be something there, but those types of areas related to really deep water, which they are really good offshore areas to go look at. Now, let's keep moving on up, and let's talk about these next. So if you're wondering where I'm at, I'm just coming up this bank line here. We're going to talk about these next 2 points that we come across here. This first one, as I zoom into it, it's a really nice point that comes out. It's got a pretty decent little saddle here, but 10 foot on the top. I mean, that's perfect depth for offshore fishing, at least here in Texas for me. That's like the primo spot that I like to find them in. Over here, if you look, you've got this really long extended point. That's going to be a great place in the summer as well as the fall. The fall time, they're going to get up here and feed around places like this, these long extending points that come out here, the main lake points. This is a great area to go find fish. You're going to want to do a lot of scanning. It's going to take some time to go back and forth and see what you can find, but any type of cover you can find on the top of this hump, this hump could have shell beds even possibly. There's just a lot of opportunity that could be right here on this main lake piece. Now, as we move over, we've got another one of those points that comes out to you. It's about 5 foot. Again, could be a pretty good place to find some shell beds possibly. Could be absolutely nothing as well, but still looks like it could be a high percentage area. Now, as we move on up, we're going to get up in here. I didn't see too much in this first little pocket from an offshore standpoint. You know there's going to be something good in there, probably off one of these points where it comes off, like this one you've got at 4 foot. Right over here, this one looks pretty decent. You got these docks that could be good, maybe fishing out here right off this little shallow point. So there could be some opportunities in here, but I just didn't see anything that really jumped out at me that said, hey, you've got to fish here. So I'm going to move on from there, and we're going to come on up. And as we come up the bank line here, if we look off to the right side, you're going to notice that we've got a really interesting area that's right over here. More than likely, this was like an old pond or something like that, but it's got a really good drop, and there's likely going to be some types of cover or debris or something like that going on in this area. This could be a great summertime area too, because they can really get down deeper in this little area and still get up and feed and stuff like that. So definitely go check that out. Even that little point that comes out over there beside this, like right in here, this could just be a really good area. So you want to go check that one out for sure. Now let's keep moving on up, see what else we can find over here on the right side. As we get a little bit further up here, we're almost into this first major arm that's over here. But as we get over here, we talked about that spot. We get out here, I don't know, you can check these spots out. These are pretty deep areas, definitely going to be a summer or winter time thing, but you do have a little hump out here that comes up about 4 or 5 feet. So that could be something to check out. Could be some rock out there or something like that. You've got a couple more of those over here. I went ahead and marked those for you. You can see this one comes up to 16 foot, this one comes up to 19, but it's surrounded by some pretty deep water. I mean, this is a 6-foot drop off that hump, and this hump's about a 5-foot drop on one side and about a 6-foot drop on the other side. So those humps can be definitely productive places in the summer time for sure. Then we're going to move on up. We're going to get up here into this branch, and really just wanted to point out this little spot right here. If you look where these power lines are, if you look closely, you can tell this point comes out, and it comes out right around where this power line is. So you've got a point, and you've also got some man-made cover that's here as well. So I would scan around in this area and see if you can find anything in that area. That point looks very interesting to me. Then we're going to move on up, and as we move up the bank line, I'm going to back out, show you where I'm at. So there's the arm we went in. Now we're up here. We're going to come up here. There were a few places up here that I really liked. One would be right in here. If you look at this, it's like a little point that comes out. It's not as obvious, but this could be a great place, especially if that's the timber line right there. They could collect up right here, so that could be good. That's what that dotted line is that you see. Also in here, you've got this little point that comes out to 11 foot. Looks really good. Drops off all the way to 21 foot, so you know that's going to be a good little spot. And you've got flooded timber that's around there as well. As we move on up, we're going to look at these couple places up in here. This little point comes out as well. If you look at it, it comes out to about 8 foot right in here, and then it drops to about 17 foot down here. So really good point. Again, could be a shell bed area as well. So definitely something to take a look at. You've got another good point that's over here. This one's really shallow. It's only 2 to 3 foot on the top, and then it breaks off to 19 foot. And then we get out here off this tree line. This is interesting because right off the tree line is a hump. And so if I zoom in here, I'm trying to hold that in here. This is the tree line right here, these little dots that you see. And then this is the hump that's right here at 16 foot. So from this side, it's 16, 17 foot, and it drops off about 3 foot. But from this side, 16 foot to 22 foot. So that could be a good hump to go look at. There was another one that was right out here as well. Same type thing. It's just a little hump that's out there. It's not obvious at all, so it might not be one of those community places. So it could be one of those good places that you can go find some fish, and especially being right on that tree line, that makes it good as well. So then we're going to move up here. We're going to go to the north side. And as we get up here on this north arm, I skipped this arm. I didn't see too much in there. And of course, we're getting pretty shallow up in here now too, but you've got a pretty good little point. Would check out that point, and would also check out this point here that comes out, because it comes up really high. It looks like you may even have a little island there, something that you can fish around. But fish on the outside edge where I have that marker at. I think you should have some production there. Same type thing here, another one of those points. But other than that, nothing crazy up here. Again, we're getting shallow when we get up here. These points look good though. Flooded timber off this point. This one looks really good, 7 to 8 feet on the top. Has a good break. It's more of a main lake point. Has some pretty good deep water that's close by to it as well. So that can make it good. So definitely a good spot to look at. You've also got another point that's over here. Both those points look like they could be productive most times of the year. You could probably go there and catch fish most times of the year. Then as we move down here, I didn't see too much up here. Again, getting shallow areas up here. These 2 points could be productive as well. Just take a look at those. This one actually had a marker on it. Said point number 4, but you can tell it's a good looking point. It comes out pretty good. It's 6 foot on top and breaking off to about 15 foot. And this other one over here is more of a rounded point, but it looks pretty good as well. All right, so we're going to move on down. And as we move down, I'm going to stop for a second and show you guys where I'm at. So we were up there, and now we're about right here in the lake. So we'll definitely be able to finish this video tonight. So as we move down here, You've got a nice little point that comes out here. Actually, this is a little hump, little 7-foot little hump that's outside of those docks. It's a point really too. It's a point in a hump, whatever you want to call it. It's definitely a place you want to go look. Looks like I missed a spot here, but I would look at this little point too, especially if this point thing's working for you and it's a great pattern. These little shallow flat points like this that break off into deeper water are great places to find fish. This is a good spot to find one, even though it's not marked. And then obviously you got another one over here that we did mark. Then I'm going to keep driving down. Now we're going to look over here into this big arm here. I didn't see too much in here. Again, I'm not going to be able to mark every single offshore spot. So kind of take what you learned from the other spots and see if you can apply them here. There's also going to be local knowledge in here. So I'm sure just looking at this whole thing, there's got to be something back there from an offshore standpoint. I just can't see anything from the map that would really get me excited about going back there. So we're going to skip that area and go down here to this next pocket. And as we get out here, there's some interesting stuff out here. One, you've got another hump, 18 foot. So if the hump thing's on, you're golden because you've got plenty of those to fish. You've got over here off this big, actually it's another hump is out here, 15 foot. I was going to say big hump, but when I zoom it out too much, it kind of, you lose it. So you can't see everything here, but a good hump there, another little hump there. Over here, you've got another hump or a point. Let's see if it's a point or a hump. It's kind of a point that comes out, shallow area, nice tapering point off the front of it. So that one looks good as well. And then I didn't see too much else back in there. Staying out Main Lake, a couple more areas to take a look at. Again, you got another hump that's out here at 15 foot. You could even look over in here, like we talked about, there's 4 foot, 9 foot. You got a lot of areas in this area. Now you got flooded timber that's all going on in here, so that's going to be harder to get to, or at least you're going to be really careful. But definitely down in here, this is pretty much open lake. Looks like there's no timber around it, and it looks like it could be a really productive hump too. So if it were me and I was out there really wanting to explore offshore fishing, I'd probably just draw a square like right here, and I would scan this whole entire area. Because as you saw, when I zoom in, this area gets pretty interesting. I just have to zoom into it too much, but right here, this is a good looking area. When we get into here, another good spot. Right here is another good spot. These are all great looking offshore stuff that you can fish. 15 foot right there too. So a lot of good stuff, but a lot of scanning you're gonna have to do too, because that's a lot of area to cover. But go in there, check it out, see what you can find, and you never know, you might be surprised at what you can find there. All right, then moving off, we're gonna go on down here, another good point that comes way out, right? Has flooded timber by it too, so that makes it even better. Then we're gonna come down here into this little pocket, and you're gonna notice in this pocket, this little high spot right in here. And I can't remember if we were able to see it in Google Earth or not. If we were, it'll be marked as a pond dam, but if not, you've got it marked right here, but this is definitely a pond dam. There was a pond right here at some point in time. This was the dam, and then of course this is the main lake where it kind of met it. So those are always good spots to go look, especially in the summertime. We're gonna get down in here where most of these docks are. Show you guys where I'm at now, about right in here. Bunch of docks down in here. I like this little point that comes out here, nice shallow flat point. And then of course, you know, you can run any points. Like this point here, it looks like someone was catching them on black and blue jigs off these little rounded points as well. So really points are just golden. You can mark every single point here as an offshore spot technically and probably still do good. So we're gonna move on up here into this major arm. We're almost done here, but I wanted to point out this point as well because I really like how it sets up. So I would look at that one. You've got another good point that's down here. So one of the local people have even marked this one. But this is a pretty good looking little rounded point that you have here. And let's see what the local said. It says that there's rocks and brush piles off that point. So that's definitely a point you want to go look at. And then I think that's it, guys. I think that brings us down to the end and finishes up for Lake Limestone. So I really appreciate you watching the videos. I appreciate all the support out there buying the Simplistic Fishing SD cards. If you haven't heard about it, we have all of these waypoints plus the Google Earth waypoints that we talk about for this lake. We take them all, put them on an SD card, and that way you can import them directly into your graph. And then we also email you the digital files, so the GPX files, so you can load it into your mobile apps like this that you see here with the Navionics boating app. And then we also give give you the Google Earth KML so you can pull it up on your desktop and view the files via Google Earth to do your mapping, planning for tourneys, all that good stuff. So go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. Not only do we have Lake Limestone, but we have over 100 lakes in Texas, and we have several other lakes throughout the United States. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.